Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream here on a Friday, January the 19th, New York morning session. Hope everybody's ready for a good day of trading. We do have news this morning, so just after the session starts, we'll watch the opening bell, and then we have news being delivered at 10 o'clock. So I'll go ahead and put the calendar up. We're looking for preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment, as well as existing home sales and preliminary University of Michigan inflation expectations. So we have all of that coming at 10 o'clock to be delivered for us. And we'll see what type of impact that has on price. Give everyone another 30 seconds or so to get in, and then we'll go ahead and get started so we can finish up before the morning bell starts. All right, Fairlander. Good morning. Good morning, Fauci, Dustin, Elena, and Luke. All right, so we have a new person. Good morning. There we go. All right, William, Crypto Queen, DB. Welcome, everyone. All right. Good morning. Right. Hello, Algeria. Shooter. Good morning. Yeah, William. You're right. It's starting to be a nice group of people that we can count on. We know there's going to be 15 or 20 of us that we see in the chat every morning. All right, Vivian. Let's go. All right. All right. So we'll grab the dollar first. Just see where we are on our weekly progress. Dollar has a pretty nice bullish candle there, mimicking what it had 2 weeks ago. Last week was a dud. It didn't really produce much of anything. Um, but we see it's back with full force this week, similar to what it did a couple weeks ago, pushing into this fair value gap. I believe this is on the daily. We'll see on the next time frame where this is, but I think this is on the daily. It's trying to exit on the top end of it as it pushes towards equal highs and pool of liquidity for the dollar. Okay, I was right. Yep. So this is a fair value gap for the daily that it's trying to escape for the third day now. It's pushed out twice, both times been forced back inside. And so it looks like it's going to go for a third attempt today. And we'll see if it can close above and end up somewhere in this area. And here's the equal highs that I showed on the weekly. So we have the same high on a Friday and then on a Monday. So that's why you get both weeks having the same high. But that's where the pool of liquidity is for the dollar. All right, we get down to the daily or to the hourly. I'm just looking to see if there's somewhere we may expect the dollar to go today. I mean, it's already met its weekly objective, so I don't know how hard it's going to push. But we do have news coming at 10 o'clock, so that may have something to do with it. And if we look here at the hourly, so the Asia high has already been swept. London low, Asia low, already been swept. Midnight, it's already been swept. The New York, remember the New York will reset at 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, the New York low will move to whatever the low is between 7 and 10. So will the New York high. So during these markups, I will disregard New York because those are yesterday's values. But so far, all the other highs and lows for sessions have been swept. So we'll see what the New York high and low brings and how that impacts everything. Here is the new day opening gap from yesterday, and it's completely played through this one. Covered it yesterday, traded back down, and now it's coming back through. And here's another fair value gap on the hourly, just like the one on the daily, where it's trying to push through and end up above. Right, let's move over. Friend ES, Let's look at where ES is for the week. All right, so ES has taken last week's high. Then 3 weeks ago, I guess, so the last week of the year, which put in the high of last year. ES is really close to taking that high, but it just hasn't done it yet. This high is 48.41 and a half. The high of this week is 48.41 and a quarter. So one tick away from taking those highs of 2023 and making a new high for 2024. ES is close to doing so, but just hasn't done it yet. So we'll see if that's in the cards for today. All right, let's get down to the daily. All right, daily looks like we've been really consolidating since that high was put in at the end of 23. We've just kind of been in this range for 3 weeks now. Let's see, small fair value gap before that can play into new week opening gap right here as well. On the hourly, okay, we do see that it put in its high last hour. Now it's retracing a bit. This may be a retrace going into the opening bell or into news, and then we'll see where it goes from there. The midnight open is pretty far away, so you can see the traction that it's gotten during the London session. So we'll keep that in mind as we see that it's moved 48.10 up to about 48.40. So we're talking 30 points. I'm not a ES expert. I haven't been in there in a long time regularly, but 30 points is a sizable gain for a session. So it's not surprising that it's retracting, and also not surprising that it's not continuing to push at this very moment. So as we push into the opening bell, into also the news at 10 o'clock, we'll keep this in mind, this retracement. Let's just measure and look at a few levels here. All right, just now getting to the 50%. So it looks like it's in business for whatever happens afterwards. And based on the time, that makes a lot of sense. So let's also keep that in mind. Okay, let's lastly grab our friend NQ, which we're going to be working with. All right, so unlike ES, NQ on the weekly has taken out last week's high, which would have been this week's objective. It's also taken out the high from 2023 from that same week of December 26th. All right, so ES was then one tick of taking that high. NQ has already taken it and substantially taken it. All right, so where can NQ go? Well, your guess is as good as mine. That's really, once it achieves its weekly objective and then you get into a Friday, I lower my expectations severely for any type of equity. All right, so this is where we were the first week of 2022 and the end of 2021 when it was putting in all-time highs. This dotted line is where we are now, 17,205. So we're just basically in the wicks now of all-time highs for NQ. All right, so I just took a candle body from this candle body on January 3rd when it started the downward movement all the way up to the top wick. I just wanted to see how big this area was. It looks like it's about 300 points. Okay. Now let's grab the daily and take a peek and see where we are with NQ. All right, remember we had those 3 or 4 days where it would do whatever it did during the day and it would always retrace back to its open. All right, well, those days are pretty over. Once we had a big push downwards rejection, but the candle body closed lower. And then yesterday, look at what yesterday did. It made up all of that from the day before, from Wednesday, covered all the uncertainty from Monday, Tuesday, from last Friday. Matt moved through this fair value gap and closed above it. Right. And then overnight during London, and then this high was swept, the December 28th high. And so it's still moving. So far today, just since 1800 open, we've already moved about 100. Yeah, we moved 150 points already. And remember that wick area I was talking about, the wick area from 2021 over into January of 22. That's this area here. Okay, so NQ already achieved its objective as well. What's up next would just be all-time highs from December of 21 heading into January of 22. And so we'll see if it wants to push into that today or if that's a later objective and we get some sort of retracement. Here's the 4 hour. There's a few fair value gaps below. Let's see. So the Asia low has not been swept. Neither has the London low. You know, it's better to watch this on the 1 hour. Yep, Asia low not taken, London low not taken. Asia high has been swept, London high has been swept. All right, so Asia and London low still open, and then we'll see where the New York values fall at 10 o'clock and see where we may end up retracing to or pushing towards. With that being said, we got 2 minutes, so let me jump back down to the 5 minute. Let me see what's going on in the chat, and let's get ready for the opening bell. Happy Friday, everyone. All right, Keto. Good morning. Welcome from South Africa. Good to have you in the room. Dennis. Good morning. Good morning. CEO. Bob. Orshak. Yep, news at 10, Vivian. Absolutely. We have news at 10. CEO says check the 4 hour. Okay. 17,275 on NQ could be an area of interest. Okay. 75. Yeah, I have 286, I think. So, yep, we're in the same range. Okay, price is falling ahead of the opening bell. And there we are. All right, thank you. I'm glad you like my analysis. I try to do it every morning. So every morning session, we'll start off with a top-down analysis. I don't do it every afternoon session, but every morning I definitely do something very similar. It's amazing. First 15 minutes, we're already up to 50 viewers. Thanks for being here with me on this Friday morning. I know it's the end of the week and not everyone trades Friday, but this is a great turnout. Okay, here's the Asia high. Last time we were there, it was between 2 and 3:30 this morning. There were several ups and downs above and below, and then eventually traded out of it. Okay, one thing I didn't check was the regular trading hours gap. All right, everyone. So here's the regular trading hour gap. So we opened up down here. Well, I'm sorry, we closed at 5 o'clock here. And then here we are at 9:30 opening up here. And now we're retracing down into the opening range gap, or the regular trading hour gap, sorry. So, yep, sorry about forgetting that, but here we are. We can see that it's becoming relevant already from the opening bell. I'm going to switch back to electronic trading hours, but I just wanted to point that out. Good morning, Derry. Splash, Zach, good morning. Okay, London low, which I mentioned has not been touched yet. Asia low, neither. Neither one of them has been revisited since they were created. All right, just had a test of the midnight open. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. On the 15, sure did. Equal lows on the 15 was also at the midnight open, same location. It's these two right here that we see on the 5. It's that at 310 and 330. Okay. Indicators. So the one that gives me the session highs and lows, that's a paid indicator, so you won't be able to get that one. And that's called TGFX, previous day high and low, and then session high and low. But you can find another indicator. Let me see if I can. I think I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, I can't find it, but somewhere I wrote it down. Anyway, there should be another free version that'll give you session highs and lows that you can get from TradingView. But I have fair value gap from Nephew Sam, so it draws fair value gaps in for me automatically. And then I have this one called ICT midnight and 8:30 open, which gives me that 8:30 in the midnight open on the dotted lines. And then also I have new week opening gap, new day opening gap, which will denote that for me as well. Right, so the new day opening gap is this yellow shaded area. At 1800, it'll go in and it'll shade in the area and it'll pull it across. And so I can see it all day. So I know exactly where that level is as price is trading. So those are the indicators I'm using. I also have this 20 EMA, but that's it. So mostly just indicators showing me key levels so I know where they are throughout the day. Once they've been all traded into, especially on the session highs, I usually take that one off. So I'm not seeing that. And then I leave my screen with just fair value gaps in the midnight and 8:30 open. Oh, and then I also have the new day opening gap I leave on all day. Three and four are so far. Wow. All right, Crypto Queen. Oh, there it is. So Atlanta said use ICT kill zones and pivot. So try that indicator to give you session highs and lows. All right, Crypto Queen. So from the 3-minute and 5-minute bearish breaker. Okay, we're on the 5 minutes. So let's take a peek at the bearish breaker. Nope, that's not it. Hmm. Here. Really at the London high sweep. Yep, a lot of London lows have been swept, Ray. We still got a couple more. Since we take, I start London at 2 o'clock. So we have this one right here at 2:10. The London low still is open. But you're right, many of the lows from London were swept right here. They were all right here at this midnight open. IMAX, good morning. Welcome back. You're trading micros, okay? Entry at CE, the fair value gap. Okay. Probably maybe this fair value gap. Let's go down to the 3 minute. Okay. I see you. 3 minute fair value gap. All right. Crypto Queen, I see you right here. Okay. I like it. I like it. Well, it got all the way down to 166, getting in around 215. So that's wow. Sweet trade. 40 points. Okay. All right, everyone. For anyone who just joined and wasn't on for the opening segment, keep in mind we have news coming up in about 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes. Uh, I don't know. TJ Friday would be interesting. It would be interesting. I did look at that this morning. Typically, um, when I've seen the TGI Friday, it hasn't had a long wick on in either direction, whereas this one has a huge wick to the downside. But I don't think that matters. So I think what I'm going to do, Crypto Queen, as I look for a TGI Friday setup, it really depends on where we are at around 11 o'clock ish. If we're near the highs of the day, then I'll start looking for a TGI Friday setup. But if we're still here in this retracement area and 100 points off the high or something close to that, then I won't look for it. Matter of fact, let me just assume that right now is the absolute high of the week. Let me just see what TGI Friday would be. All right, based on its size right now, retracement back to 17,142 would be 20%. All right, 142. So you're talking about right here, just below this London low. So we're not far from where that would be now. So I'm not excited about a TGI Friday unless we get up here and we're like either sweeping the highs or we're making equal highs. If that doesn't happen, then I'm not looking for it. Oh, you got in on the 830 candle on the 3-minute. Oops. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right about that. You definitely anticipated something before it actually happened, because the market structure shift actually occurs here, right? Because the crazy thing is, when we got up here, we were bullish, right? Crashed down, market structure shift from this high here, then show we're bearish, and that didn't last long. It immediately started working its way back up until it made a new high, which then said, okay, we're bullish again. But you believe that the bearish um, price structure was going to hold, and sure enough, it made a high, then a failure swing, and then it crashed down. But if you entered on the 830 candle, oh my goodness, yeah, you were well ahead of everyone else. Right, so then you were actually looking at these kind of setups, right, which then allows you to trade back in 50% and trade out. So okay, yeah, that was completely different, different than I was originally thinking. But good job. All right, Tommy, let's see if we can't change that. What we're going to do is we definitely want to be careful and be patient. We have news coming up in about 15 minutes. And we'll go from there. But for now, I'm going to stay out of the market, and I just want to let it settle for a bit and then see what the news does. 15 points. All right, IMAS. Good job. There you go, Crypto Queen. There's your risk reward right there. Small risk, large reward. Way to go. Yep. All right, next SMT on the 2 indices. Okay. All right, let's pay attention here on this fair value gap. We have all candle bodies above 50%, even though we had a sizable push lower on the opening bell with this wick at 930. So now we want to pay attention to this fair value gap that was created above from the opening bell. We want to just pay attention there. as we're pushing up, because we've already seen support below us. And now we want to see if this is going to be short lived. We're going to trade into this fair value gap above several times and then actually break to the downside. So we want to pay attention to this fair value gap above us and see if we can't get through. Okay, you're not the first person I've heard who says they are paying attention to Apple, and I have someone else also paying attention to Tesla. And they're looking at those two. Loot Fisk. All right. Yeah, you managed to capitalize on entering here and catching it up until these wicks. All right, here we go again, testing below the fair value gap. And this is what I meant. I said, let's pay attention here to see if we can break through. If we can't, then this is just balancing price here to take out these lows. So we didn't want to sweep these lows without taking these highs, which is why it bounced here, hit these a couple times, and now we're down. So again, we still want to see where the candle closes. Just like here, we had big ranges below, and it managed to always close back inside. So that's what we want to watch. While price is delivering it right now, I'm going to go ahead and get my first refill on coffee before the news is announced. We're also starting our macro period, so I want to be here for most of that as well. So I'll be back in 60 seconds or so. All right. That was a quick recovery. Didn't even wait till the end of the candle. It just, after 1 minute, it was already back in the range. Yes, I'm trading on Topstep. You're right. I'm trading on Topstep, and I have it integrated with TradingView, so I can still use TradingView to trade on Topstep. All right, MS, you sold at 210. Okay. Tommy, no, I haven't used Topstep X yet. I have not. I've heard some good things about it. Just I'm not big on change, but also I've been live streaming every day, so I'm pretty much for my entire day I'm doing this, and I'm using TradingView, and then when I'm done live streaming, I'll either take a break from trading or do some back testing or something. But I haven't introduced a new platform or even tried to introduce a new platform. So no, I haven't. I just trying to stick with what I know, and if there's a good reason to change, then I will. But so far, I haven't found one. It really depends on you. Yeah, whether you want the 50, the 100, or the 150. I had 150, so it just really depends on. I know a lot of people like the 50, because it's the least expensive one, and it gives you also a smaller target, so it's easier to pass your combine. You do also have these smaller drawdown limit, 1,000 on a daily. So you have to take that into account as well. But it's really up to you. Remember, on Top Step, you have a max of 3 accounts you can get, and so that was one of the reasons why I chose the 150, because you max out. And so I was thinking I would get 350,000 accounts. But yep, MS. Yeah, waiting for a new setup. MS. Remember, there's news in 5 minutes, so in 5 minutes we'll have news announced. Sniper ES 4841. Okay. Can I talk about the rules of Top Step? Yeah, it's pretty simple. So you have let's just go with the 50,000 account. I think you can lose a maximum of 2,000 in total. You can lose a maximum of 1,000 in one single trading day. So the trading day starts at 1800 and goes to the following day at 1700. And just so you're aware, because some people are they have asked questions about the trailing drawdown. So for Top Step, what they do is, so let's say you start off with the 50,000 account, and the first day of your account you make $1,000. So now your account is at 51,000. Before, you could lose 2,000 before you fail your challenge. So before, you could get your account balance down as low as 48,000 before you failed. Now that you've made 1,000, your trailing drawdown also moved up that 1,000. So now you still only have $2,000 that you can lose. You can't go below 49,000 now. And let's say the next day you make another 1,000. So now you're at 52,000. You need 53 to pass your challenge, but so far you're at 52. Now your trailing drawdown is at its maximum. So it's at 50,000. So you still can only lose $2,000 before failing your challenge. But this is the last time that it moves. So this is the maximum that your trailing drawdown will be. And so it's at 50,000. You're still at 52. If the next day you make 500 and now you're at 52,500 after your third trading day, your trailing drawdown is still at 50, because that's the maximum that it can go to. And then assuming you make another 500 and you pass your challenge, and now you have a funded account. And then your funded account has those exact same rules. But as I mentioned, your trailing drawdown only moves up as much as whatever your maximum drawdown to fail the challenge is. So for the 50,000 account, it's only $2,000. So after you make $2,000, know that your trailing drawdown is at its maximum level there. Similarly, if you're on a 150,000 account, your trailing drawdown is 4,500. So after you make $4,500, now your trailing drawdown is at its maximum level if you're doing a 150,000 account. So that's really the only rule that you need to remember, is that as you start making money, it's the same as like when you're trading and you're moving your stop loss to break even. Top Step essentially does the same thing. When you make your first 2,000 on a 50,000 account, they move their stop loss to break even on you. So now you can't go below the original 50,000 amount that you started with. All right, everyone, in 2 minutes, we have news coming. So remember, it's the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment, which is a high impact folder. And then we have a couple medium impact folders, impact folder news as well, the existing home sales and the inflation expectations. All right, so that's coming in about a minute. Oh, no problem. No problem. Glad I could help. Uh, William, sorry. Yeah, there's one more rule. You can't make more than 50% of your profit during the combine on one day. So you have to take at least a minimum of 2 days to pass. So if you're so for on a 50,000 account, if you need to make $3,000 as your target profit, you can't make, well, you can, but I wouldn't advise making more than $1,500 in one day, because then yes, your target profit increases because you still cannot make. So let's say you go and you make 5,000 that first day and your target profit was 3,000. Well, that 5,000 can't be more than 50% of your profit. So now you need to make another 5,000 in order to pass an account. So in total, you would need to make 10 when originally you only needed to make 3. So don't make more than 1,500 in one day. Then once you pass your combine, you can make 20,000 in one day. It doesn't matter. But during the combine phase, don't make more than 50% of your total in one day. All right, so news has been released. All right, let's see what happened, how it turned out. Okay, so red folder is above expectation by quite a lot, actually. Existing home sales below expectation. Preliminary University of Michigan inflation expectation. There was no forecast. So it's just a number. I'm not sure what that means for currency. But it is lower than the previous. Last month was 3.1%. Now we're at 2.9. And I don't know if that's like some expectation for the year. Let's see. Percentage that consumers expect the price of goods and services to change during the next 12 months. Okay, so this is saying that people believe this month, they believe the next 12 months is going to end somewhere around 3% inflation, which is what we've traditionally seen in this country. Last month, they thought a little bit over 3%. Now they think it's just a little bit below. So consumer sentiment is improving. That's what that means. All right, let's get back to the charts and let's see what that means for price action. I'm going to go and take a peek over at the dollar and the other indices to see what they're doing. Okay. Indices are not quite in sync yet. We have the S&P and Nasdaq in sync, but it's waiting on the Dow to catch up. Pre-market highs. Oh, okay. So you're saying, do I think we'll make a new high today? It's definitely possible. Um, like I mentioned during the opening, just before the opening bell, when I was doing the analysis of the market, is that highs have already been taken. So we've taken the high of last week. We've also made a new high of this year. So based on that, there is no real objective to do it. So it can happen, but like I said, there is no reason to get up there, and so we got to be careful there. Hey, caveman. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're feeling better. Hmm. Okay, I got it. Yeah, take it easy. Take it easy, definitely. But that's good that you're starting to, get some of your mobility back and feel close to being normal. Okay, like I mentioned at 10 o'clock, our New York values shift. So we have a New York low down here at 166, and of course, the New York high would be our pre-market high. So that may be a target for a later time today, maybe this afternoon, but could be next week. All right, back down to the midnight open. Is that I think it's midnight. Yep, back down to the midnight open again, which is where we saw the low of the New York session just before opening bell or right at the opening bell. All right, Crypto Queen, you didn't take a second entry, did you? All right, Brad, good morning. Welcome. Right on cue. All right, let's see if we get a push below this level on this candle. 3 seconds left. All right, the next candle will do it. Okay, I see. Crypto Queen's like, nope, I took my trade. I already won. There's no need to get in a second time at a lower level. Completely understood. Understood. You got 4.2 R and 3.7 R. That was a sweet trade you made there. Okay, let's remove this. We're out of the macro. Well, Brad, so we looked at everything earlier, and during the London session, we saw new weekly highs made. So last week's weekly high was taken. The week before's weekly high was taken. And this was all over the night or early this morning. So all the targets that were above us for the week have been met. And so the question now is, what else will price do? We don't want to force even higher prices than it's already done. If it starts to move in that direction, then that's great. But we don't want to force it. And so at first we were just waiting for the opening bell, and then we had news announced at 10 o'clock. So we needed to wait for news to be announced. Now that all that's happened and we shouldn't have any more interruptions today, now we're just waiting for price action to show us kind of where it wants to go. Since we got on the session, you can see where we've been sitting. We've been sitting right here while price waited for the news to be announced. Now that that's happened, we're just looking for it to break out of this range. To the upside would be, I mean, it'd be great, but I just don't see why it would do that. If there's some levels below that it didn't sweep. So we still have the New York low that hasn't been touched. We have the London low that was made and not touched. So we're still looking for those levels. But then obviously we do have the New York high. That's our high of the pre-market session. So between those two, we'll see where price wants to go. But I was taking a look at some of the others. The dollar had some higher targets that it still needs to reach for. So if we get that, then we'll obviously see Nasdaq and ES follow suit with lower prices. So I think we should prepare for it to move lower, but not be surprised if it goes higher. All right, William. Yes, definitely wait for your payout date. And if you've had a good week, don't let this morning session force you into a trade. Yes, crypto queen, you're absolutely right. We just came out of the macro period. That's why when we were here at 10:09, I was thinking we would break market structure, which we needed to take out the New York low. And I said, okay, let's see if the next 5 seconds will take it. And then we got to the next candle. I said, okay, this candle will do it because I expected that to happen. It didn't happen, so we're still in actually bullish market structure since this high was made. And so for that reason, I'm not interested in any setup at the present moment. Now we are in the same time frame for the silver bullet, so maybe we'll have a silver bullet setup. But as far as a market structure shift and looking for a breaker and jumping in that way, I'm not looking for that right now. No. So if you move down to my top step, you can trade with micros, but you still have a maximum amount of contracts you can put on. I think with a 50,000 account, the maximum contracts is 5. So you can do 5 minis, but even if you go down to micros, it's still 5. So it's not necessarily a like a value, but it's just a max amount of contracts. So even going down to micros, you still have that 5 limit. If you do the 150,000 account, your max amount of contracts is 15. So in that case, going down to micros, you can do 10 micros with no problem. Yes, sniper. This could technically be a breaker. It could. The problem is that it traded back in and down through. And so for that reason, let's see. Yeah, because it traded above here. And then when it traded back down, you would expect the breaker to hold and it to build up, but it didn't. It just crashed through. So then the breaker really was nullified. But this one here, I think it was taken off the 5 minute. Yep, as a bearish breaker, this was taken off the 5. Yep, so it traded through, back up, around the midpoint, crashed down. Traded back up, even though it pierced through, closed back inside, crashed down. So this is the breaker that held. Yeah, Brad. So the 10 micros gives you a chance to scale out at different points, take partials. And that's the issue that a lot of people have when they have a 50,000 account. They want to do, because of the risk of one trade, they like to do just one mini. But one mini doesn't allow you to scale out and take a partial profit and then let a runner go. So that's why they move down to micros. So the 921 candle. Okay. No, it doesn't necessarily have to close above. Price just needs to go above. So this wick is enough. Um, oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying on a bullish breaker. Okay, yeah. In that case, you will need it. Yeah, you'll need it to close above, so then it can retrace back in. Bullish breaker. Okay. Yep. So this will. um, Yep. So this will be your bullish breaker. If we can get a close above, and then it will trade back down, and then you look for higher prices. But yeah, once it's confirmed. Oh, Chris. Yeah, man. I haven't seen you in a while, man. Welcome back. Oh, sweet. Done for the day. But it didn't work. Okay, you tried it in practice. Got it. Hmm. Did you try a long setup, Chris? All right, Antonio, good morning. Okay, you tried a short. Got it. Okay. Yeah, prices in here. I know you tried a short, but you got to remember we're in here. It's pretty much just consolidating, so it's not a lot of room for it to move in the direction you're looking for. The silver bullet, generally, when you take the entry, you're looking for a low hanging fruit. So if you try to short, I'm assuming you tried this fair value gap maybe. If you tried this one, you didn't get stopped out yet. So you must have tried this one. But then again, if you tried this one, where would your exit be? If you got in at 187, your exit would be maybe here, 166. So you're trying like 18 points maybe. Oh, if it was the midnight open, you're saying 169. So 16, 17 points. But no, so right now I'm just kind of neutral as far as what price is moving. But we are technically looking at market structure still bullish. Um, so for that reason, I wouldn't have tried a short. But I do want price to show me something else. Even though it's 10 o'clock, I still needed to. I need to wait. I need to see where it wants to go and to make sure that the fair value gap that I select is one that's going to hold. So I'm not looking at the silver bullet yet. I haven't found where I think it's going, but we'll see. I'll let you know if I figured it out. Hmm. All right, Chris, have you reached out to customer service? Because from what I understand, it should only take like a day or two. Um, when you log into your account, does it say you passed and that everything's good to go? Take profit trader. Okay. All right. Thanks for that. I'll keep that in mind. Hmm. Oh, I see. Okay. That's unfortunate, Chris, that you're still waiting for your new account to be activated. No, I'm asked no more news this morning. Nope, we're done. We are absolutely done. Yep, 10 o'clock was the last piece of news. Yep. Hey, Chris, which one of these shorts did you take? Because I'm showing there should have been fair value gaps all the way through here. So I'm wondering which one did you get into? Yeah, that one's too small. Oh, okay. Brad here, FVG, and it's done by Nephew Sam. He's I guess, the programmer or the user account that uploaded it. But it's FVG Nephew Sam. And then these are my settings. Oh, it's a 5 point fair value. Okay. Yeah, no worries. No worries, Chris. We'll see if we can find another one and we can still get something in the next half hour. Yep. So we're about halfway through our session this morning, guys. So thanks for being here on this Friday morning. We got another 90 minutes, so hang in there with me. Let's see if we can't find a better setup or a setup at all. So far, we haven't found anything. Yeah, especially in the short term, like in like where you are right now, it's good to have the indicator just put all the fair value gaps there, so you don't have to worry about them. It's only the ones that never get deactivated that are from old time periods. Those are the only ones that you have to. Whenever you start a new session, you want to go back and revisit the last time price was in that area to look and see if there are fair value gaps that are still open and available. Those the indicator most likely won't capture because you have to put a limit on how many candles it'll go back to. But outside of that, yeah, this is an excellent tool, and it keeps you from having to every 2 or 3 minutes update your chart. Consequent encroachment, so it's like 50%. This middle line would be consequent encroachment. It's an ICT term. So I can delete this. Sorry, I don't know why I still had that there. Yeah, I wonder if the silver bullet is coming from here. All right, I'll be right back. Just give me 2 minutes, everyone. Right. Yep. So we're still looking at a choppy morning so far. First hour. So we had the opening bell until now. I had a feeling we might have something like this just because of the range we had during the London session. So pushing 150 points and achieving the weekly objectives. And it's a Friday. So I had a feeling that we might see either some sort of choppy conditions or we may see, I thought possibly we had a quick run to whatever the daily objectives were early. And then it was just going to consolidate or chop around for the rest of the day. But it looks like we got that chop and consolidation early. So maybe we'll get either the end of this session or into the afternoon, we'll get some actual good price action. But I'm not surprised at what we're having right now. So hopefully everyone is protecting themselves and not too antsy to take a trade, and is looking for their A plus setup. Okay, let me just check on the other charts. Hmm. All right, let's just throw this one down here for a second. All right, take a peek at the dollar along with the three indices. Right, and this is all on the hour. So whenever I look and I see a lot of wick and very little body, that lets me know that that's not price action I'm looking for, because price is going in different directions, and we're getting a lot of rejections instead of continuations in the direction that it's going. So um, I'm glad I'm not in the market right now, and I just want to wait a little bit longer. And we can see like they're starting to all sell now, but Nasdaq is trailing behind still. Yep, I had all three indices put in their high during the eight o'clock hour, which was a good sign. Unfortunately, on this side, we didn't see a low put in on the U.S. dollar side. So we're still waiting to see where the dollar is going to go, because that's really going to determine where these three guys go. Um, but even still, we're now back towards possibly going bullish and extending the wick to the upside. So just wanted to throw that there as to why price action is not particularly strong right now, and why taking a position right now is not high on my list of things to do. All right. All right, TJ, good morning. Candle closed above 210. Okay, yep, we had the candle close above 210 several times. Trade back into this one. So, all right, Brad, let's see where this one takes you. Mm, good. Come back down to the 1 minute. When we get to the macro in another 8 minutes or so, another 7 minutes, I'll put the 1 minute chart back up. Mm. Oh, thank you, D. Anderson. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Dustin. Yeah, definitely. If you're liking the content so far, if this is your first time or not your first time, but yeah, if you're liking the content, please hit the like button. Let YouTube know that this is a good channel, and then they should continue to promote us to anyone searching for live trading or Nasdaq or any of those search keywords that would point them to our channel. Um, so that helps out quite a bit, and thank you all for helping me and for supporting me. D. Anderson, where are you coming from again? All right. Yeah, I was just measuring there to see if I was looking at the scalping strategy I used to see if it would work here, and just looking at what the manipulation leg was and what 30% retracement was. This candle right here came within, I don't know, came within just a couple ticks of tapping in. Oops. All right, Brad, I hope you got your scalp. Looks like it got you by 2 ticks or so, 232.5. Oh, you're from Atlanta. Okay, got it. Oh no, I just asked because you said you're English student, so I was just like, okay, maybe he's somewhere. Oh, you're an expat living in Panama. Okay, I see. Awesome, awesome. Oh man. All right, Lauren from Quebec City. Oh, welcome back. Yeah, I think I did see you. I think you popped in last week. Yeah, good to see you again. All right, Bob. Look at Bob crushing it again. TP hit. There you go, Brad. Good job. Nope, Zach, you're right. It is not fun right now. But that's what happens. So when you wake up in the morning and you see a consolidation for London or Asia, and it really hasn't moved much from the previous day close or from the midnight open and those kind of things, then you're sort of ripe for a big move. But if you wake up and you see that a move has already happened and it's already done 100, like today it was 150 points during the London session, it's not that it can't do something as well for New York, but it won't without a retracement. It's not going to just keep running. And so right now, what we have is just price action slowing down. It's consolidating a bit. It's faking people out. But again, it's already achieved its objectives for the week. So we'll see what it does today. But there are no glaring openings for it to just run to big pools of liquidity or anything. You're right, Brad. It definitely might do it again. You never know. All right, we're now into the macro period. So let's see where price decides to go. Yeah, D. Anderson, absolutely. Yeah, this is a good opportunity. Trading is the same everywhere. So if you can get a funded account, you have just as much capital as those in some of the first world nations where the average salary is pretty high. So your students have a great opportunity if they understand English, and the internet has really just brought opportunities to most people who didn't have them before. So thanks for recommending me to some of your students or to others that you know in Panama. I really do appreciate it. Short 182 or the Asia high. Okay. Then back to the New York high, which we haven't touched yet. Yep. Okay. Since we're in the macro, I'm just going to sit down in the 1 minute period. I just want to see where we land as far as continuations are concerned. We haven't eclipsed this high just yet. I think we got within 1 tick of it. This high shows 232.5. Over here, we're looking at 232 3/4. Yep. So we need one more tick. We'll have a new high. Unfortunately, that'll give us a pretty low, a pretty manageable low here. So we could see a price, I'm sorry, market structure shift pretty soon. So let's pay attention during these next 20 minutes and see what happens. No, Brad, I think you might be right, because what could happen, what we could see here is from here to here, then a sweep of the low here, then here, and then back up. In fact, this might actually end up being this. Okay, amazing. Yeah, send them this way. I've so far it seems like those who have already been trading for a while have found ways to improve their trading by being part of the group in this room. So I think your students would also find the same. So definitely recommend them to come and join us. Uh, Tell them not to be shy. Introduce themselves. You know, ask any questions they have. We're all here to help. Yep. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Brad. Let's see how this develops. But I think in this 20-minute period, now all of this won't happen in this 20-minute period. But we at least need this part and this part to happen before we get here. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and, we all take our own trades here, so that's no issue, Brad. All right, let's take this off now. All right, stage one done. Oh, awesome, crypto queen. So you took it from the 5-minute breaker. Just hit TP1 on 1R. Okay, let me see if I can simulate what this probably is. Okay, there it is. 2R would be here. Okay. And then if you make it to New York high, is that 3R? It's exactly 3R. Wow, look at that. 1744. Okay, on 5 minute. All right. Um, I don't have the free one. Can someone throw in the free indicator that gives session high and lows again for Lauren? The one that I have, it's a paid indicator, so you won't be able to get it unless you join the mentorship of the person who created it. But there should be a free one on there somewhere that you can use. Okay, there we go. Yep. So Lauren, there are two options right there for you that you can try out. Right. And you'll need to set up your sessions for whatever time zones you want. Um, Mine are set here. It's 1 hour behind because I think it's because I'm in Phoenix, and Phoenix we don't change for a daylight savings, so it's kind of weird here. But normally New York is 7 to 10. I have London set up as midnight to no, I'm sorry, from 2 until 5, and Asia set up from 18 to midnight. Obviously, I had to subtract 1 hour just so it shows up properly on my charts. But that's the time frame for the different sessions. Right. And before I had this indicator, I used to do it manually. So I'll come in every morning and just mark out the session highs and lows, see which ones were still available, and trade from there. All right, look like we may have this market structure shift during the macro. Oh yeah, Brad, that custom one. I definitely need to dig into that one, especially if you say it can do everything. All right, got within a tick or two of breaking, but it didn't. There it is. This candle looked poised to do it, and it did. All right, so now we have a shift there. Um, we now want to see if price wants to start delivering bearish, or if this was just a liquidity sweep, and now we're gonna run higher. Like, let's just remember that's possible and it can happen. We're still in the macro period, so we're not done yet. It could shift back bullish without a problem. All it needs to do is sweep this high at 241. Look at that price action there. Yep, you're right. Yeah, so for anyone who has the free version of TradingView, where you have a limit of only 2 indicators, um, the indicator that Brad just mentioned, do-it-yourself custom strategy, he says it has so many options in there that you can really combine 2, 3, 4, 5 indicators into one. So it helps you bypass that limit of only having 2 indicators on your charts. So yeah, definitely anyone using the free account on TradingView, make sure you look into that indicator, as it may solve a lot of the problems you have and save you from having to upgrade your account. All right, we've made that shift back to bullish, all within the macro period. We switched bearish and then back bullish. So hopefully that's a lesson for everyone in patience. Just because you see a sign that things are changing doesn't mean that it's permanent. Um, it's one that you want to make sure that you wait for further confirmation. We didn't get a further push lower. We got just a tick down, 1 or 2 ticks, and then they start buying up. The one thing that could have trapped you would have been here, right? Because it already gave you a bearish fair value gap, and then it changed structure. So if you saw this and you said, okay, now we're bearish, you would have went short here. And now look at price. We're having the best price movement we've had in quite some time, and maybe this is the breakout for the morning that we were looking for. And now we have 1, 2, possibly 3 fair value gaps to trade and buy from. And let's get rid of these lines so they're not in the way. Okay, Crypto Queen, I'm glad that worked out for you. Your runner's still alive. That's awesome. All right, everyone. We are now, it looks like the macro period has about another 30 seconds. I want to make sure I'm still good and fresh and alive for you this last 50 minutes of this session this morning. So if you can bear with me and give me a minute or two to run and get my last cup of coffee, that would be amazing. I'll check in with you guys in just a moment. All right, I'm back. All right, so the 1 minute so far has not provided any type of retracement entry. Let's see where that entry would have been. 2 minute, no. Nothing on the 3 minute. And definitely nothing on the 4 minute. All right, let's see on the 30-second. Maybe we got something there. There we go. You can go. 30-second provided an entry. Once this high was broken over here, had to wait 2 more candles, and then it broke down. So 4 candles in total. Unbelievable. uh, Make daily. Not sure. I promote Topstep here, so I'm not sure. I don't know anything about the one that you're mentioning. True Forex Fund. Yeah, I've never used any of the ones that do Forex or do CFDs. I only trade futures. So I'm only familiar with Topstep, and I know some of the facts about Apex, but I've never used them. Majority of the people in this room, I believe, are using one of those two, either Apex or Topstep, but there may be others. So I'll leave it for others to maybe give you some recommendations, but yeah, I promote Topstep. All right, Crypto Queen, there you go. The breaker block will keep you out of those fake outs where you see an impulse of 2 or 3 candles and you think that maybe that's the breakout that you need to then take the fair value gap, but oftentimes it then takes your stop loss and then continues in the direction you thought it was going. You were just early. So waiting for breakers for me was a way to stop being early on trades. All right, we're back up to 100 viewers. That's amazing. Amazing. Thank you guys all for your support. Thank you for being here and staying in the room, not popping in for 2 minutes and then leaving. All right, still looking to see if we ever get a retracement. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. All right. So now we've had previous day high taken, previous week high taken. We've had all of the session highs taken now. Asia, London, New York. Right. And remember that I marked up this big blue area. This is the wicks from the big sell off on January of 2022. So you're talking all time highs is where we're approaching now. So be careful on going long up here. We're prime territory for a retracement. I'm not saying that it's going to retrace. All I'm saying is we're reaching the area where there are not very many pools of liquidity above us. We're reaching the all-time high levels. So for that reason, just be careful on longs. Congratulations to everyone who did catch a long down here, or even somewhere in the middle, wherever you got in at. Uh, but I did want to make sure that everyone's aware that all the pools of liquidity really are below, with the exception of these that have been here since 2 years ago, around this exact date, 2022. Wave catcher, absolutely. Let's see if we can get 100 likes. That would be amazing. Gee. Yep, afternoon session today, 1300. So we'll break for 1 hour. Luke Fish, we'll break for 1 hour and then we'll come back at 1 p.m. All right, Fuego, no problem. A lot of people do. So I'm sure there are a lot of people who are just listening in, but not actively participating in the chat or actively looking at the charts all every minute. So many people are working and just kind of have it in the background. That's one of the reasons why I also talk my way through the charts so they can listen to what's happening. Yep, let's just continue to adjust our Fibonacci. Tiny. I see, Brad. Okay, no worries. Tiny, let me get back to you on that when you can withdraw the other half. I'm assuming after another trading day you can do it, but I'll have to look into that. Oh, it's a full withdrawal. Okay, got it. Yeah, I do know, Tiny, that if you close your account, like let's say you just don't want to do it anymore, whatever's in there is yours. So it's not like they keep it and say, well, this other half is ours. It's still yours. So if you close your account, they give you the full amount. Yeah. All right. Is this going to be the retracement we were looking for? And again, everyone remember, we're getting close to the top. So protect yourself if you're in a long. If you're getting ready, if you're looking, anticipating to enter a long, understand what's above you, understand what's below you as well. Who was that? Was that Crypto Queen who asked me about looking for TGIF? For me, Antonio, this was an excellent week. I think I'm up a little over 4,000 for the week. So I'm not antsy or jumping to get into price action after the weekly goals have already been met and we're close to the highs. I'm not saying I won't trade, but I'm just being cautious and trying to protect the capital that I made this week. Go into next week and see what the objectives are there and see if I can't catch a bulk of that move. But yeah, I'm definitely make sure I'm here. Still looking at every candle, still looking at all the setups that present themselves. I'll just take the ones that speak to me, and any that speak to you, feel free to jump in. Oh, okay. Yep. So Crypto Queen, you see, so I have my Fibonacci here down at the bottom. You see all these options you have in here. You can save templates. So I have a TGIF. Oh, sorry, you probably can't see that. Let's see if I can't do this. Maybe that's a little easier. All right, so down here, I have a TGIF version that only has 20, 30, 40%. So 0.2, 0.5, 0.25, 0.3. And then I have others. I have a scalping one. I have OTE is the one I use mostly. So that's kind of how it works. So if I go to the TGIF, now when I do my Fibonacci, it gives me 0 down to 20, 25, and 30. So this is the zone I'm looking for it to retrace to, somewhere in there. So that's how I do it. Oh, thanks, Tiny. You said wood accumulation, please. So we'll be looking at accumulation. Potentially, but yeah. So Brad, the TGIF is just if you have a continuation in one direction all week, and you're at one of the extremes, either at the high or the low on Friday around midday. You do expect that wick to form at some point, and so generally the retracement is about 20%. Okay. All right, Pavan, you trading in the Indian market? Yeah, I think it's, I mean, price action is price action. These algorithms work in most markets. I'm assuming, from what I've heard, they work in any market that works on these electronic algorithms. So you should be able to use the same principles in whatever market you're trading. It's just going to be a bit different for you because we're bouncing our trade ideas off of the US dollar, whereas yours may be off of your currency. So just keep that in mind. And if you want to trade US indices like this and you're not able to do futures, then you could go into another broker and trade CFDs and just trade the US 100, which is also Nasdaq, or US 500 for S&P. There it is. Oh, okay. All right. No problem, Crypto Queen. Oh, DB, you're from India as well. Okay. Didn't realize that. All right. Oh, I need to get back to my OTE. There we go. All right, Ahmed Mohammed. All right. Well, welcome. Good to have you from Egypt. Yep. All right, TJ. All right, guys, I got to step away just for one more moment. Let me go and check on my dog for a second. But I'll be right back. We have a half hour of trading remaining. We still have another half hour until the session is over, so I'll be right back. Back. A little more consolidation, it looks like. Before you go, you said, do I have videos on do's and don'ts? I do not have any videos on do's and don'ts. Are you talking about do's and don'ts on funded accounts, or are you talking about do's and don'ts of trading? Yeah, Crypto Queen. There are lots of people from, you'd be surprised how many people from Chicago and from the Ohio area that live here in Phoenix. Mostly Chicago. You meet so many people who are from that area who relocated either in their later years or grew up there and after college decided to settle here. TJ trying to get to Dubai. It's a great place to be. Turn into a good trader. You can afford it, no problem. No, I'm not looking for sales here. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm not looking for anything. But price action has been bullish. I am waiting for a retracement, but I'm not like I'm looking for it for to jump in, and I wouldn't call out a trade for a sale while I'm looking for a retracement. Because I would be looking for it to retrace somewhere in this area and then for it to continue and for this high to then be the target. Right. But I do want to be careful just in case this high is the daily high. Right. We are Friday. We have had news this morning. We have had, let's see how much movement have we had so far this morning, because it was before, it was what, like 100, I think it was about 150 points was the movement that we had before the session started. Whoops, let me just go to higher time frame. It's a little easier. All right, it's a lot easier on the daily. Yep. Yeah. So we had about 150 points ish, 125, whatever. Before we had a retracement, and now we've swept those highs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens during lunch. But I'm not overly optimistic either direction. Because as I've said, once it achieves its objective for the week, then I'm not really pushing for price to do too much more than that. Look for short moves, 20, 30 points, and that's about it. Oh, Luis, welcome. Yep. Yeah, DB, you're right. I mean, I was looking for the retracement earlier. But you're right. What's it to hunt above? I mean, we're approaching, like I said, all-time highs, and we're approaching a 2-year level. So this blue zone hasn't been touched since January of 2022. Right, so it can get up in there, but you're right. It's been quite some time since it's been there. So yeah, I don't want to call out any levels right now. I want to see where price settles, and then when we get into next week, just look and see what the targets might be. Okay, so you're sending new people unfunded. Yep, do's and don'ts on funded accounts. No, I don't have any, but if you have any specific questions, I definitely want to answer those for you before you go. The only thing, the one don't is pay attention to what your daily limit maximum is. So the maximum you can make on an account is 50% in one day. So make sure you don't go over that, because all that does is extend the target you need to reach in order to pass your account, because you can't make more than 50% in one day. So just make sure you don't do that. If you're on a 50,000 account, if you make $1,500, close your trade. Don't trade anymore for that day. Yep, you're right. You could be setting up a 2022 for the other direction. You're right. All right, 50% mark has now been reached, which is a great mark. In fact, let me make sure it is from the opening leg. All right, so, okay, something just, there we go. Crypto Queen, you're right. He does have a PDF that I like from Ash Trades. The one that I have is on unicorns. Is that the same one that you have? All right, Crypto Queen, where we are right now, TGIF is going to be below the London low and below the New York low and slightly above the London low. It's going to be sitting right here at 17,155. Yeah, you're right, Caveman. We are definitely growing. So far, it's showing that we have about 100 people in the room, a little bit over now, which is awesome. This morning, I was so surprised. The first 30 minutes we're at 60 people in the room, which typically that takes an hour or more to build up. But we were there in the first 30 minutes. So yeah, it's definitely growing. People are showing up daily, which is amazing. You know, the same group of people. So we are all getting a chance to know each other's tendencies. We know, trading styles. So it's going to turn out to be quite the room, I think. And I think we're going to all reap the benefits. 2024 should turn out to be a really good year for us. So for everyone who's checking in on a daily basis, or at least 2-3 times a week, I think you're going to see your trading improve. iMac, yes, check the description. There is a Discord. We're still in the infancy phases, but there is a Discord. No, this is YouTube. It's just straight YouTube on this one. I'm not live on Discord. Discord is more of a space for us to chat or to post documents. All right, Lo, thank you. All right, we're down to the last 15 minutes of this morning session. So it's 11:45, everyone. Let's go ahead and make sure that if there are any other questions or any pertinent issues, things we need to talk about before we break for lunch hour. Let's go ahead and put that in the chat now so we can start discussing it. If there are any newcomers who have questions, throw them in the chat as well. Ahmed Muhammad, I do share some strategies and concepts when I take a trade. I'm not an educator per se or a mentor. Maybe I don't know how you guys view it, but so I don't have like a curriculum that I teach or anything. But when I take setups, I do explain exactly why I took the setup, what I see in the market. I'm even explaining what I see in the market now, even when I don't take a setup. But as far as explaining the strategies, if you have questions about a particular strategy, I'm happy to walk you through it or show you what I see. But you're right. I don't have sort of a curriculum that I go through every single day. I typically like to just let the market flow. I know some of you are watching my screen looking for trade setups, so I don't want to break off into a strategy session while the market is still printing. But I will if you have a specific question about a specific strategy. Yep. Yeah, Mark. We're still in the infancy stages as far as getting the Discord up and running and having things for everyone to come and check out and start dropping in your own charts or your own trades or things that you're interested in. So we'll get there. So just go go ahead and subscribe for now, and then check back in another week or so. I'm sure you'll be surprised with what you see. Nope, I didn't try to trade the ETF. I did not. Okay, so you struggle with sizing and leverage. Okay. What particular questions do you have, Ahmed? So, are you saying that you don't know how much you should leverage per trade? Is that what you're saying? Okay, got it. Okay, so you get a lot of small wins, and then you increase your leverage. You take one loss, and it erases all of your wins. Okay. So with that, I would suggest you stick to the same lot size, right? So don't switch your lot size just because you have a few wins in a row. What you want to do is you want to pay attention to your account size, and your account size is what should determine how much you risk, not how confident you feel in the trade. It's based on your account size, and the more repeatable you can do it, because you got to remember, even if you did everything right, you have a perfect strategy, at best, you're probably going to be 70, 75% win rate. So those 25% losses that you take, that's going to occur even if you do everything right. So you can't allow those losses to impact your psychology and impact your confidence. And so that means that, so you really do need to stick to a particular lot size that you're happy with. Um, I know one issue that I have is moving my stop loss too soon. As soon as I'm in profit and I start feeling comfortable about it, then all of a sudden I want to protect my position and I don't want to drop back below zero. But what that does more times than not is ensure that I don't make it to target. So I had to learn that I need to start leaving my stop loss there, and I need to accept the risk that the trade has already brought on. Yep. So when you're taking your small wins, are your small wins going all the way to target, or are you closing your trade early and that's your small win? I'm not sure about the Indian market. I don't know much about it, to be honest. But is it manipulated? Absolutely. All the markets are manipulated. The central banks of each currency has the ability to manipulate the price of their currency. And so, yes, they're all manipulated. And that's why they tell us when the news is coming and why we expect volatility from the news. It's not that traders are looking in at exactly 10 o'clock. Everyone is hitting a different button to either buy or sell. That's not the way it's working. That's just the way it's manipulated at a time that they're telling us. That's all that is. But yes, I believe all markets are manipulated. Bearish breaker if I traded and closed below. Okay, the 5 minute. All right. Or actually, let me finish up Ahmed. Okay, both small lot and also I take only 10 to 15 points max. Okay. So if you take in small profits, Ahmed, then um, your stop loss. If you're willing to take a 10 or 15 point max as a profit, then your stop loss needs to be somewhere between 5 and 10 points max. Right? You can't take a 10 point profit and then have a 30 point stop loss. Because it seems like that's what's happening. You say you win, you take small wins, and then you take one big loss, and all of your profits are gone. So you want to match up your stop loss with your take profit. So either you're going to take a 1-to-1 trade at the lowest ratio, or you want to increase that and do a 1-to-2 or 1-to-3. If you watch me trade, majority of my trades are 1 to 2. So as long as I'm 50%, then I'm profitable. So just keep that in mind. Crypto Queen, 5-minute chart. Okay, you want to know where is the breaker? The bearish breaker. Okay. Hmm. All right, so you're talking about these here. All right, so the bearish breaker is going to be here. So we're going to have our high, and we're going to have our low. Then we're going to need a higher high, and then we're going to get a lower low. All right, so you're going to use all of these. They're all consecutive. If you had a black candle in here somewhere, that's where you would break it off, and then you would just use the down. So you want to go from the lowest candle. That's originally your breaker. And then every candle to the left that is exactly the same direction, that's consecutive. You want to include all of them. But yes, if you had like a black candle in the center, then I would stop and just include the white ones. But since all 4 of these are bearish candles, you include all of them. All right, we're in the macro period 2. So this would be awesome. Awesome. Let's see what happens. Let me go down to the 1 minute and just put the indicators up so everyone is good to go with that. 12:10. Okay. All right, let's get back to the questions. It's pretty easier. Yeah, if you're anxious and you find yourself not being able to calm down during trading, move over to a demo account. That's the first. But secondly, go ahead and schedule some time to back test, because that's where the confidence is gained. When you see the examples, you see them work out the way that you expect, and then you can go and start applying it to the market. But if you're ever unsure and you're just not really feeling like you feel like you don't have your feet underneath you in the market, take a step back, go back to practice, um, go into a simulated market where the candles aren't moving anymore and you can see them still and you can focus and study. And then after you gain your confidence back, then come back. I am not an ICT charter member. I joined his 2022 mentorship. So I found him in like October of 2021, and he was in the middle of his final year of the private mentorship. So he wasn't taking new students, and he announced in 2022 he would do the YouTube mentorship. So that's when I officially like really joined his teachings, was the start of the 2022. Right? You say, would it be do? All right, Crypto Queen. So back in, you say, would it be 10:05, 10:20, or 10:45? Okay, so it would start at, okay, so I'm at 11:35. All right, you're talking about here. Okay, if you're shooting for these kind of lows, then Then crypto coin is probably this one. 1005. Start here at 1005. Yeah, if you're thinking about sweeping these lows down here to TGIF and then taking a bearish breaker, then yes, you're talking about 1005 crypto queen. The Shooters Club. Oh, okay. I've been trading for 3 years now. Next month will be 3 years. Let's see. I traded for about 6 or 7 months before I discovered ICT. And to be honest with you, Shooter, I was I was pretty lost. So ICT kind of steered me in a direction where I had a focus and I knew exactly where I was going and what I was trying to learn. Before that, I was just bouncing around between any and everything, trying to figure out something that worked. Okay, class of 23, crypto queen. All right. All right, Brad. Good luck. 2022 is a good place to start, but you're not new to trading, so you're actually in a better position than most. Yep, Luis, you're absolutely right. 2023 was the master class if you wanted all that info. I stayed in until about July of this year, and then I kind of broke free and had learned all that I needed to know for the models that I liked. And so I still check in from time to time, but I'm not as involved as I was before. You want to have a one-on-one, all right? Is that I guess related to trading? You want to have a one-on-one trading session? Pavan, ICT is the Inner Circle Trader. He's on YouTube. He has over a million subscribers. He's widely known. Some people love him. Well, most people love him. Some people hate him. But either way, he's a he's a great educator of trading principles. He's been trading for over 30 years. It's just I can't speak higher about any other trader that I've seen so far as what they teach. His methods are, not for everyone. And then a lot of his teachings also include information that's not necessarily trading related. So um, some of his videos are a little long, but for free, I can sift through all of that and grab all the little nuggets that I need. And so you'll get no complaints from me about ICT. Yep. Next, you probably are almost there. Once you learn the technicals, and the technicals are not as hard as we all believe they are. You can learn the technicals in 6 months to a year of practicing and watching tutorials. I think you'll all be good at actually trading. It's going to be, can you conquer yourself, and what type of hangups do you have around money? What's your relationship with money? When you see $100 profit, what does that mean to you? Does that mean something good? Does that mean something really small where you're like, okay, that's not really that great? And it's going to be different for everyone. And so as the trade is moving, you're gonna realize that your emotions are starting to change, and it's based on your relationship with money. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're keeping up on your psychology as well. So not just the technicals. Make sure you read or listen to Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, or any other psychology book. That's the one I like, but whichever one you like, you need someone or something in your ear telling you that it's okay to have a losing trade. Oops. Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I'm reading the comments and forgetting about the screen. Boom, there's the high. Let me remove this. This is free. I was just pointing out if that becomes a breaker. We'll now see it shoot to the downside, and we got another 7 or 8 minutes. Get down to the 1 minute. I'll stay on until I finish all the questions, and then we'll break for the afternoon session. There you go. Best loser wins. Randy Howell. Oh yeah, I think I did run into his by accident. I think I was searching Mark Douglas or something, and then another guy popped up. Okay, this 1 minute bearish candle. All right. Yep. All right. I think I got everyone's questions. Any final questions? Final questions, anyone? Okay, fair value gap right here. I know it's hard to see with this dark blue. Just move this out of the way. Yep. So we have market structure shift back bullish here. Right. Right. Anyone who went long, this would have been the setup that I would take on a long. Right. So that would have a stop loss of 14 points, take profit of 28.5, all the way up into this 2022 area. And that's for anyone who's going long. I'm definitely not going long. I'm not trading. Okay. Yeah, crypto queen, especially if it runs for the TGIF, then you're going to get that bearish momentum, which you can then take to the lower levels that we already looked at. I'm sorry, I have to bring back the levels. There we go. Right. So TGIF will take you here at 17,155, which is below the New York low that we haven't touched yet, and just a couple points above the London low that we haven't touched yet. So most likely it'll crash through all of them at once. But that's if it wants to get down there. So first price action has to show us that that's the goal. Yep. And so having something in one of these. So this is what we should do. Right now, we just had during this breaker period, it just took out highs, right? So obviously we shift bullish again. It doesn't mean that we're bullish for long, but just means right now we're bullish. But Crypto Queen, look for the next macro period and the one after that. We're going to look for a bearish setup. And when you get a market structure shift downwards, then that's when you want to look. No, I use the TGIS fib on the weekly candle. Right, so you want to take the weekly candle and you want to go from wick to wick. Triple H, I'm not trading during lunch, so I'm getting ready to Stop the live stream for this morning session. We'll pick it up again in another 50 minutes or so at 1 o'clock. And at that time, we'll look for a setup. But right now, I am not actively pursuing a setup, and I'm getting ready to shut down the stream for the morning session. All right, I think that's all the questions we have. Went an extra 7 minutes already. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and shut down this morning session. If you enjoyed the stream, please subscribe, like the video, and actually share. We all know other traders who are also along in their journeys at different stages. So go ahead and share the live stream with others. Let them know that it's a good room to be a part of. Let them know that there is value to be gained. There's other traders who are willing to help. And yeah, that's all I can say is that if the more we share, the more we collaborate, the better we'll all be. So thank you again for the session. I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to take a small break, clear my head. We'll be back in about 50 minutes for the afternoon session. All right, for everyone who's not joining, have a good weekend. I'll catch you all next week. Cheers.